Strip, Wagner's IGA, Jewelry Barn, and NKTelco. Good afternoon, I'm Craig Fissinger with my broadcast partner this afternoon, Tanya Hammonds. Today's matchup and 12:30 tip-off between the Jets and Raiders is varsity only. So any of our live NKTelco viewers that were concerned about missing that Cincinnati Bengals playoff game, well, no worries, Tanya. We're going to have this wrapped up well before kickoff at 4:30. But I think you're actually an Indianapolis Colts fan, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So we'll be, like I said, we'll be done before the kickoff coming up at 4:30. But let's preview this varsity contest between the Raiders and Jets. And Tanya, why don't you begin by introducing the Varsity Raiders roster?
Thanks, Craig. Today for the Raiders, we have three seniors. Our core girls with Ella Haney as a 6-foot forward, Sophie Francis as a 5'11 guard, and rounding out the seniors is Riley Hammonds, a 5'5 guard. Next up, we have our 7 juniors who've had a lot of success athletically from bottom up from the 7th grade on. We have Kate Sherman as a 6'2 forward, Kelby Dosek as a 5'11 forward, Eliza Garrity as a 5'10 forward. Cece Borchers is 5'9 guard, Simone Putoff is a 5'8 guard, Maya Monin is a 5'7 guard, and we also have Reese Gubo as a 5'6 guard. Finally, we have 2 sophomores, and that is Ronnie Poling, a 6-foot forward, and Carly Scott, a 5'10 junior. And I do understand that Coach Bremergen has given out more uniforms, yet they're not in dressed up today. Again, we have 3 seniors, 7 juniors, and 2 sophomores. Head coach Paul Bremergen's in his first season coaching the Lady Raiders after 35 years of coaching both boys at Russia and Troy. His assistant coaches are Rachel Borchers, Tracy Schulte. Their JV coach is Bruce Borchers, and Christy Borchers is their freshman coach. Our athletic director at Russia High School is Amber Cordonier.
Well, so far, Tanya, this season, Russia has an overall record of 12 wins versus 4 losses. Their current record in the Shelby County Athletic League right now stands at 6-2, which has them tied for second place with Botkins, also at 6-2, and both those teams are trailing first place Fort Laramie at 8-0. The Raiders' non-league record is also an identical 6-2. On the road this year, the Raiders are 7-3, and here in the Claire Steamboat Gymnasium, Russia is 5-1. If we look at some team scoring averages defensively, Russia is allowing around 40 points per game. Offensively, the Raiders are putting up 12 more points than their opponents at around 52 points per game. And here's a rundown of individual wins and losses this season for Russia. Victories have come against Sydney, Minster, Houston twice, Fairlawn, Tri-Village, Botkins, Jackson Center, Anna, Bradford twice, and Covington. Their 4 defeats have been to Fort Laramie twice, New Bremen, and Marion Local. Let's take a look at how the state-ranked number 10 Raiders played earlier this past Tuesday in their most recent game at Houston. Russia was actually coming off back-to-back losses versus Fort Laramie and Marion Local the week before, and Russia really wasted no time getting on top of Houston early, and they didn't take their foot off the gas all night as the Russia Raiders hammered Houston by the final of 62-26. 8 different Raiders scored in the game, and they were led by Cece Borchers with 14, and both Ella Haney and Maya Monin had 10. And Tanya, let's be honest, when you look at the league race, Fort Laramie's at 8-0. They're kind of a solid bet to win it, but Russia got the Houston win on Tuesday. If they can beat Fairlawn here this afternoon, perhaps pick up a win next Saturday versus Jackson Center, and the Saturday after that versus Anna, you got to believe that Russia has an argument for possibly that number 2 seed when the tournament draw is announced on January 30th.
They most definitely have a great opportunity to finish in the 2nd seed in the Sydney sectional. We're looking forward to looking at the east side of the schools that participate in that sectional as well. And I'm not sure there's any competition or scoring or teams that can match up with the Raiders in that respect.
All right, well, that was a preview of the Russia Raiders. Now let's talk about these Fairlawn Jets, as we're now about 8 minutes from getting started here with our tip-off in this varsity-only game. Tanya, let's preview this Fairlawn Jets roster.
Thanks, Craig. Today, the seniors for Fairlawn are Camry Cundiff, Bluffton-bound Lana Heath, Jessie Abke, Katie McKenzie, and Olivia Ambos. They have some juniors in Alyssa Kennett, Jenna Batten, Brianna Kennett, and Darcy Maxon. There's 1 sophomore in Avery North. And finally, they have 2 freshmen, Aubrey Judy and Lorelai Chambers. Again, they have 5 seniors, 4 juniors, a sophomore, and a freshman. Their head coach is Gavin Cathcart, now in his 6th season, with a record of 32-98. His assistant coaches are Franny Fries and Mike Henman, and their athletic director is Marissa Clark.
Well, a little bit about the Fairlawn season so far. They are at an overall record of 6 wins and 9 losses. However, Fairlawn's record in the SCAL right now stands at 0-7, still looking for their first win. I talked to Coach Cathcart a little bit before the game about that, and he talked about what a strong Shelby County Athletic League this is. And he talked about their non-conference record right now sitting at 6-2. Not often you see that big of a disparity between the conference and non-conference records, but he talked about they could even be a little bit better than that if it wasn't for a couple late game problems that the Jets had. But at home in the hangar, the Fairlawn has an even record of 4-4, and on the road right now the Jets are 2-5. If we look at Fairlawn's team scoring averages so far, defensively they're allowing 43 points per game. Offensively, they're scoring that same total of 43 points per game. So if we compare the averages of Fairlawn and Russia, defensively the Jets are giving up 43 per game, the Raiders 40. Offensively, Fairlawn scoring 42 and Russia 52. Here's a rundown of individual wins and losses for Fairlawn. Victories have come against Ridgemont, Newton, Triad, Ansonia, Middletown Christian, and most recently, Waynesfield Goshen. Their defeats have been to Covington, Houston twice, Russia, Jackson Center, Botkins, Anna, Fort Laramie, and Mississinawa Valley. And here's a quick recap of Fairlawn's most recent game a week ago. It was hosting Waynesfield Goshen, and the Jets jumped on the Tigers early. They were leading 24-9 after just the first 8 minutes, but Waynesfield Goshen cut Fairlawn's lead at halftime to just 10 points, 29-19. In the second half, however, Fairlawn expanded their lead and won by the final of 53-37. Leading the way for the Jets, as she's done most of the season, was senior Lana Heath, who racked up 28 points. And Tanya, no doubt about it, we're going to talk about Lana Heath a lot this afternoon. She's a special player.
She most definitely is, and I believe that she has the stats and the go get them to potentially vie for Player of the Year in our league. She is, like you said, she is a special player. She scored her 1,000th point back in December in a win over Middletown Christian. In that same game, she had 48 points and set a new single-game scoring record at Fairlawn. She's committed to be a Beaver at Bluffton University. She's active in AAU. She works out in the off-season. She's playing for Ohio Coffee 17U last summer. So she looks forward to continuing this final year in her high school career and finishing with a fantastic one.
Talking to Coach Cathcart a little bit about her before the game, and he talked about how after the game, typically, especially at home at least, that they'll shoot an hour after the game. She'll be lifting weights and just constantly working at it. She works at it year-round. You mentioned the AAU time that she has. She does that all summer long and into the fall. That Ohio Coffee is an elite AAU team, and she works out with a couple locals, names that I'm sure some of the people in our area are familiar with. Girls like Riley Sagaster and Allie Stockton over at Sydney. Coach Caleb South down there, I believe at Bethel, is trained some athletes like that in the off season, and those are some of the girls that were part of that group. But yeah, it takes to be a special player like that and to play at the next level at Bluffton. You really got to put in the extra work, don't you?
Absolutely. The extra lifting and working out, and the agility is just as important as the repetition of shooting foul shots and getting some extra shots in after a game or on a weeknight when there's nothing else going on. So she puts in the time, and most deservingly will have a fantastic career for the purple and white, and I look forward to going up and watching the game myself.
Well, we're talking about a lot about Lana Heath, and again, we'll talk about her later today. There's some other good players on this Fairlawn team that we'll mention throughout our broadcast. Let's go back to the Russia Raiders a little bit. We got about 4 minutes till tip-off, and Russia, one thing Coach Cathcart said that he was going to have to control these girls on the board tonight, the Russia Raiders, but they've got something special there with a lot of height down low, don't they?
They absolutely do, and not only their height, but they go aggressively at the basket, defensively and offensively, to rebound and scoring. But in addition to that, our guards, Russia's guards, have some height. They're not small, short girls. They're a little taller, and they have a nice range with their arm span to get their hand on a lot of balls and create some turnovers.
All right, well, that brings us now to our Keyhole Pizza keys to the game. And Tanya, let's start with the Fairlawn Jets. What does Fairlawn need to do to get the victory here this afternoon?
Fairlawn needs to take their opportunities when they get the ball inside and try to score, because in that situation, like I said, the Raiders go aggressively at the basket, that could put them in some foul trouble. And Fairlawn does have some height in the paint, so that could definitely go to their advantage. They also have to maintain the boards and make sure to keep the Raiders off the boards, in addition to getting Lana Heath to the basket, because the kid can score. She's just got to get to the hole.
All right, and how about these Russia Raiders? What are their keyhole pizza keys to the game if they're going to improve their league record to 7-2?
The Raiders' key today, I believe, is continuing to push the ball up the floor and keep an up-tempo pace. A lot of times when they try to slow down and maybe run an offense, a half-court offense, it's not as easy for them. When they get the ball moving, they get the defense out of whack, and good things can happen.
All right, those were our Keyhole Pizza keys to the game. We'd also like to thank, once again, our sponsors here this afternoon. Our five-star recruitment sponsor is Crown Equipment Corporation. Our MVP sponsors are Clopay and Nedick Minster. And today's Russia game sponsor is Jewelry Barn. Also, our scoreboard today is being sponsored by First National Bank. Replays come to you courtesy of Winners Meats. Starting lineups will be coming in just a moment. They're from Sydney Auglays Audiology. All timeouts today are sponsored by Precision Strip. And our stats and recap sponsor is Wagner's IGA. We'll have a Wagner's IGA halftime report for you, as well as our post-game report. You want to stick around as Tanya and I will sum up everything at the end of the game. And in case you're wondering what happened the last time these two teams met up, Russia and Fairlawn, it was back on December 4th, and it was all Russia as the Raiders cruised to a 66-28 win over the Jets. All right, we're going to take a break for today's national anthem. We'll come back with your starting lineups. Fairlawn versus Russia tips off next on NKTelco Sports.
Lift your career to new heights with Crown, an innovative global leader in the material handling industry with over a 75-year history of growth and success. We're seeking career-minded candidates for a wide variety of entry-level and skilled positions in our new Bremen, New Knoxville, Salina, Minster, and other U.S. locations. Visit crown.jobs to apply or find us on social media by searching Careers at Crown.
Clopay Corporation, America's favorite garage door, is now hiring for all manufacturing and over-the-road Class A CDL driving positions. Clopay is the largest residential garage door manufacturer in North America, and we are continuing to grow. Join our team and work in a safe, clean, modern environment. Clopay offers a great benefits package as an equal opportunity employer and a drug-free work environment. Imagine the possibilities when you open the door to your career at clopay.com/careers.
Are you looking for a new career with amazing growth potential? NKTelco Press and Automation is hiring for many positions right now. NKTelco is a global company that is growing with its sights on being a billion-dollar company. Machinists, service technicians, human resource personnel, IT specialists, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and many more. The opportunities abound at NKTelco Press and Automation. Go to minsterjobs.com now to get started on your new career with NKTelco.
Hey, welcome back to the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium here in Russia for today's Shelby County Athletic League matchup between the hometown Russia Raiders and the visiting Fairlawn Jets. Now it's time for our Sydney Auglays Audiology starting lineups. And Tanya, who do we have starting today for the Fairlawn Jets?
For the Jets today, we have a senior number 1, Camry Cundiff, a senior number 3, Lana Heath, a senior number 4, Jesse Abke, a senior number 12, Katie McKenzie, and a junior number 44, Darcy Maxson.
All right, and coming up for the Russia Raiders, they're announcing their starting lineups currently. What do you have for the Raiders, Tanya?
For the Raiders today, we have a junior, a 5'9", number 3, Cece Borchers. We have another junior, a 6'2", Kate Sherman, who is number 4. A senior, a 6-foot, number 10, Ella Haney. A 5'6" junior, number 14, Reese Gubo. And a 5'11" senior, number 21, Sophie Francis.
Again, those starting lineups sponsored by Sydney Auglays Audiology. Again, we'd like to remind our viewers that today's scoreboard is sponsored by First National Bank. All replays courtesy of Winners Meats, and our timeouts come to you from Precision Strip. So both the Jets and the Raiders out on the floor. Jets with their home blue uniforms, Russia with their away blue uniforms, Russia with their home whites. A lot of blue and white going on here in the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium this afternoon, and jumping at center circle for the Jets, it will be number 4, Jessie Abke, and for the Russia Raiders, also number 4, Kate Sherman. Kevin Beckstead, our official, getting ready to throw up the jump ball.
It seems like Jessie Abke's been playing for 10 years. But she's been on varsity since she's been a freshman.
Well, she seems to match up very well with Kate Sherman as far as the height goes. We'll see how they choose to play this. And Rushi controls the tip, gets things underway as Reese Gubo is going to start out the game with a 3. And how about that, Tanya, at the 7:48 mark, Rushi already on the scoreboard.
When Reese has an opportunity to set her feet and let the ball go, she does a fantastic job. She's a great follow-through.
One of these 7 juniors on this Rushi Raiders roster, as we talked about in our pregame a little bit, and Heath puts one up from the baseline. That's over the top of the rim. And you're going to catch any iron at all. Rushi with the rebound as Ella Haney, 6-footer, corrals that one in. Cece Borchers now with the ball for Rushi, gets it out to Haney. What kind of defense is Fairlawn playing here, Tanya?
Looks like we got a little 1-2-2 going on. Not bringing that top person up very high. Kind of daring the Raiders to shoot from there.
So Rushi trying to figure out this zone as Haney's going to shoot a 3. She can hit it from out there. That one's too strong off the rim. Rebound goes to Heath. And bringing it up the floor for the Jets is Camry Cundiff, one of the seniors, 5 seniors on Coach Cathcart's roster. Coach Cathcart talking about Camry Cundiff, saying she could dribble through anything. Very good ball handler. Abke now with it, trying to hand it off to McKenzie. Katie McKenzie gets it over to Cundiff, and then with the ball now is Lana Heath, trying to figure out ways to get it to Heath and talk to Coach Cathcart about the game earlier this year as Fairlawn turns it over, where Fairlawn was playing Housen. Housen was running a triangle and 2 defense, talking about defenses. And I said, who were they guarding besides Heath? He said, no, they were using 2 girls to guard Lana Heath.
Holy smokes. I have not seen that one.
It must have worked. Houston with a couple wins over the Jets here this season. She's choosing to play a little bit differently on Heath, the superstar for the Jets. Cece Borchers with it in the corner, trying to get it down low. Does get it down to Sherman. Sherman almost loses her dribble, picks it back up, gets it on top to Haney. She hands it off to Gubo.
That's one thing that's dangerous when you put the ball on the floor in the paint. And the Jets did a nice job there of collapsing to almost create a turnover for Kate Sherman.
Borchers with a 3 from the corner, and Rushi's first 2 field goals of the game are from behind the arc, now leading 6-0 at the 5:57 mark here in the first quarter. So Heath now with the ball at close to center circle as Cece Borchers doing a very nice job defensively on her. Cece Borchers, not only can she hit the 3, but she can play defense as well, Tanya.
She absolutely can. She tends to guard maybe the second best player for the opponent. Sophie Francis and Simone Putoff tend to be guarding the best player on the opponents.
A couple back-to-back turnovers by both Fairlawn and now Rushi, as the Jets with the ball and trailing by 6 points. Still trying to get on the scoreboard as we approach the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter.
Fairlawn's doing the right things by setting screens. The Raiders are doing a nice job right now defensively.
He's going to take a 3, and that's off the back of the iron. No good. Like Heath just trying to get these Jets on the scoreboard, maybe give them a little confidence. As down low, Sherman's with it, tries to put it up, gets her own rebound. Can't get it to go, and it's like Fairlawn knocked it out of bounds. A couple substitutions now for Rushi as Simone Putoff will come into the game as well as Maya Monin. Winning the bench will be Reese Gubo and Sophie Francis. Maya Monin, a 5'7 junior, had 10 points in that Houston game earlier this week. Gets it to Simone Putoff in the corner, on top to Borchers. Back to Monin. Maya Monin picking up her dribble, looking for a teammate. Finally finds Ella Haney. Again, Rushi trying to figure out how to penetrate this zone as Sherman's going to put one up, and that's how you fix the zone. Kate Sherman with the bucket. She has 2. Rushi now leading 8-0. When you play a zone like that, Tanya, you got to have somebody in the middle, and it's a case of trying to either score down low or kick it out to a guard.
Absolutely. If you can get the ball inside and then get it kicked back out, that's your best chance to score and not put the ball on the floor.
And another substitution for Rushi as they will bring in Ronnie Pulling, a 6-foot sophomore, one of 2 sophomores on this roster, along with Carly Scott. It's kind of nice when you can substitute one 6-footer for another.
Absolutely.
Ella Haney now on the bench for Rushi. Heath with it down close to the right block, gets it on top.
Ronnie did a nice job on the JV. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. She did a nice job on the JV to earn her spot on the varsity roster and get some playing time.
And Jessie Abke gets Fairlawn on the board with her own bucket, and Russia going to get whistled for the travel. Yeah, you knew it was a matter of time watching Ronnie Pulling on that junior varsity, just getting some confidence, getting some experience. You knew she was going to be coming up to the varsity eventually. Not much room on that varsity roster with all this talent that we have this afternoon, but Ronnie Pulling doing a nice job.
You're exactly right. We have a lot of post presence, and next year she'll fit in nicely when Ella graduates.
Pulling not able to handle that pass down to the post as she turns the ball over once again with the ball. Cundiff now for the Jets, trying to get it into Darcy Maxson, and down low off the glass it goes for Katie McKenzie. She can't get that one, and missed opportunity there for the Jets as the ball will now go to the Raiders. Coach Cathcart still with all 5 of his starters in as Rushi has subbed freely here. Now subbing in Reese Gubo. She'll replace Cece Borchers. Coach Paul Bremingen in his first season, as you said, a lot of experience though, 35 years coaching boys basketball, and I like what he's doing so far with these Raiders this year. Got some good help though in assistants, Rachel Borchers and Tracy Schulte.
Absolutely. His years of experience along with fresh new ideas from some very, very, very respected female coaches, assistant coaches, they add a nice little twist to it. And Bruce does a fabulous job with the JV kids.
Longtime coach Bruce Borchers, of course, been with this program as coaching for a lot of years. And another substitution for Rushi as Ella Haney will replace Kate Sherman. 6'2 junior will head to the bench, and 6' senior replacing her. So Fairlawn will try to inbound it in front of the Rushi bench. Not sure if our viewers can see that on camera, but Raiders leading this ball game 10-2 with under 3 minutes to go here in the first. Fairlawn will turn it over on the inbounds. No, we'll actually get a tie-up, and official Kevin Beckstead is going to call the jump ball. Possession error will go to, looks like Rushi. Or actually, there's a discussion on the scores table who that ball is going to go to.
The arrow has a little bug to it. I've found out.
Well, they're saying it's Fairlawn's ball, and Maimana will knock that inbounds out of bounds. And Katie McKenzie will once again try to inbound it for the Jets as Cundiff's trying to get loose. Finally gets to Lana Heath. Heath double teamed by a couple Raiders. Cundiff with it on top. She's going to take a three. And Cameron Cundiff hits a three-pointer for the Jets. So it cuts that Raider lead in half, 10-5. Cundiff with a nice open look there as Simone Putoff quickly answers for the Raiders. She gets a bucket.
That's Simone's sweet spot. Is right there. A nice little jumper on the baseline.
Seen that many times this season following the Raiders. Simone Putoff from about 10 foot on in is a very capable scorer as Heath splits a couple Raiders, tries to get the bucket down low, can't get it as Maxson tries to put it back up. And looks like Rushi's going to dribble the ball on the baseline. Another substitution now as Sophie Francis will come in and replace Putoff.
The great thing about Simone Putoff is you can put her in a post position, you can put her in a guard position. She's a great utility player.
And high off the glass, Darcy Maxson gets a bucket. So these Fairlawn Jets scoring here all of a sudden, and Raider lead cut to 5 points, 12-7. 2 minutes left to play here in the first, and Haney misses the 8-foot jumper from the lane. Kind of for the baseball pass to Heath. See what Heath does. She's going to take a long three. That's off the back of the iron. No good. Nice rebound and box out by Ronnie Poling. Gubo with it now. Finds Haney down low from the left block. And she can't get the basket, but she's going to get fouled and head to the free throw line. That foul looks like it's going to go on Lana Heath. And if so, that will be her first.
Gubo did a great job of pushing the ball up the floor. And Ella did a nice job looking for the ball because a lot of times players will run up the floor with their backs turned. And they don't have any idea what's coming at them.
Free throw made by Ella Haney. Excuse me, that foul went on Jessie Abke. Substitution as Coach Bremingen will bring in Cece Borchers, and Maya Mana will head back to the bench. Second one for Haney is good as well. So 5 different Raiders scored so far, and Rushi now with a 14-7 lead. 1:42 left to go here in the first quarter. Kind of finds Maxson all alone down low. Rushi missing an assignment on that one, Tanya.
That's the best way to break the 1-3-1. It's looking cross court. If you can make that pass, and Fairlawn executed that perfectly.
Well, Camry Cundiff, a little deceiving there as a point guard. Coach Cathcart told me how good she was, and when you look at her, she's doesn't have a lot of height out there, but a very good ball handler, made a very nice pass, hit a three a little bit earlier. So very impressed early here with the senior Camry Cundiff for Fairlawn. Ella Haney back at the free throw line. That foul will go on Heath this time as Haney was 2 for 2, misses her third opportunity from the free throw line. And finally a substitution as Katie McKenzie, who head to the bench. Entering now will be Alyssa Kennett, a junior. Haney's second one's on the way. And Ella Haney now 3 for 4 from the free throw line. Rushi with a 15-9 lead, 1:19 to play here in the first. Cundiff gets in a little trouble, throws it off the leg of Cece Borchers in front of that Raider fan over there sitting in those. We'll talk about him a little later, maybe at halftime. And Rushi gets the Fairlawn turnover as Ella Haney will inbound it at the half court. Cece Borchers with 1:12 left here in the first, setting up this Raider offense. Fairlawn playing this zone here as Borchers going to go for a three-pointer. She made one from the other side earlier. This time not as fortunate. Cundiff with a nice pass again once to Lana Heath. Heath down low to Kennett, and Kennett's going to get called for the double dribble. I want to wish a happy birthday this afternoon to Heidi Sherman from Rushi. She is 50 years old today, and I'm sure she didn't want me to tell everyone that, but you only do that once, so we're going to wish her happy birthday.
To you.
Heidi Sherman, the mother of Kate Sherman, number 4 out there for the Raiders. I'm sure she'll be celebrating a little bit later this evening.
I would imagine.
So Alyssa Kennett to inbound it for the Jets in front of their bench as Cundiff will try to get something on the board for the Fairlawn here with 40-some seconds to go in this first quarter. Trying to lob it down low to Abke. Abke puts it up, and a rainbow shot as Abke almost found herself underneath the rim. Somehow got that to go down. And this Rushi leads now only 4 points, 15-11, and a steal from the Jets. They're going to try to cut this thing down even further, but maybe not in the first quarter as that pass went into the Rushi bench. And a quick substitution as Putoff will come into the game. Heading to the bench will be Borchers. 23 seconds to go. Rushi with the 15-11 lead. Going to try to get one more basket before our first quarter break. Haney's going to shoot the three, and this time she gets it to go down. Ella Haney, who only had 3 free throws, now gets 3 from behind the arc. She's leading all scores right now with 6 points. 4 seconds to go, and Heath with the ball is going to lose it out of bounds. And I think we had an extra second tick off that clock while the ball was out of bounds, but we'll see if that matters as Kennett will inbound it with 0.9 seconds left. And nice bit of defense there by Kate Sherman. He knocks it out of bounds. So that will do it for 8 minutes of play. Rushi leading Fairlawn 18-11. You're listening to high school girls basketball here on NKTelco Sports.
At First National Bank, we are working hard to make your life a little easier. With products like Card Valet, an app allowing you to control your cards with real-time notifications, transaction restrictions, and spending limits. The ability to access your money through 55,000 all-point ATMs across the country, surcharge-free. Live customer support when you need it. And online and mobile banking, allowing you to gain access to your financial information wherever and whenever you like. First National Bank, making your life a little easier.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
After one quarter of play, Rushi leads Fairlawn 18-11. First quarter scoring for the Raiders went like this. It was Ella Haney with 6 points. Kate Sherman had 4. Cece Borchers with 3. Reese Gubo with 3. And Simone Putoff with 2. For the Fairlawn Jets, they're being led right now by both Jessie Abke and Darcy Maxon with 4 points each. And Camry Cundiff has 3. Any stats from you, Tanya?
Yeah, each team is 5 for 12 from the field, and both teams have 5 turnovers.
So second quarter play getting set to start here. Just a moment As out on the floor for the Raiders will be Kate Sherman, Reese Gubo, Sophie Francis, Ella Haney, and Simone Putoff. For the Jets, they will have Camry Cundiff, Lana Heath, Alyssa Kennett, Jessie Abke, as well as Jenna Batten, number 22. Batten's one of those players I talked to Coach Cathcart about her. He said she is a beast on the boards, he called her. Said very capable of getting double figures in rebounds. And we mean that in the nicest way.
She did a fantastic job when the Raiders played over at the Jets back in December. She really did a really nice job. I was keeping the scorebook that day, and Coach Cathcart gave her a lot of praise.
Heath with the ball now trying to find a teammate, and Gubo with a nice job getting her hand into the passing lane as down to the floor. Both go Gubo and Kennett, and I think Kennett's going to get whistled for the foul. For the Jets, that will be their third team foul. Rushi has just one. 7:30 to go here in the second quarter. Rushi with the ball. Gubo dribbles around a defender, puts a floater up off the baseline. That's no good. Rebound, Jessie Abke for the Jets. Gives it to Cundiff. Cundiff bringing the ball up the floor as Putoff going to pick her up at half court. Handing the ball off to Heath. Fairlawn trying to figure out a way to get Lana Heath into this ball game. We talked about the game a little earlier this week. She had 28 points in their win over Waynesfield Goshen. Actually had a game of 48 points earlier this season against Middletown Christian. She broke the Fairlawn scoring record, a record held by, I think, Amanda Francis, had 47. Talked to Coach Cathcart about that a little bit. He said that at halftime she had 33 points, and he mentioned about having her sit the rest of the game, and she gave him a look like, Coach, I want that record.
There's no way that she's going to come out of the game.
So Rushi with the ball and the 7-point lead, 18-11. Under 7 minutes to play here until halftime. And Sherman with a nice pass down low to Haney. Gives it to Francis, and the ball's going to go out of bounds. Rushi to inbound it underneath her own basket. Substitution as Maya Manan will enter the game for Sophie Francis.
The kind of defense that Fairlawn's playing today fits right into Maya Manan's game. She does a nice job around the perimeter, but she's got to be set. So the zone gives her a better opportunity to score.
And the Jets now with the ball. Cundiff will bring it down. Trying to cut into this 7-point Raider lead. And a double team by both Sherman and Manan on Cundiff. Cundiff finally throws it off the leg of Kate Sherman. Rushi seen them run that trap and sometimes more successful than others.
Defensively, it gives teams fits.
Cundiff to inbound it McKenzie to inbound it by the score table, gives it to Cundiff. Cundiff being guarded by Maya Manan, and she's going to step on the sideline in front of Coach Bremagen. So a Fairlawn turnover. And Reese Gubo across the timeline for the Raiders. Gives it over to Simone Putoff. Putoff, he's trying to get a steal. She almost drags the pivot foot. Nice job there by Putoff, not traveling. She now is going to take the jumper from the lane. She gets bumped by Heath. Alana Heath, that will be her second foul. Got to think Coach Cathcart doesn't want to take her out of the game with her being their main offensive threat. Then again, if she picks up a third foul, then what do you do?
She's getting digits in the wrong category for the Jets right now.
So Simone Putoff at the free throw line. Her first one's good. Rushi seems to be shooting well from the free throw line. What do you have them at right now?
Right now they are 4 for 6.
Putoff with one more attempt. And a nice shot there by the junior. She now has 4. And Rushi expands their lead to 9 points, 20-11. Heath with it down on the baseline, tries to go off the glass. That's no good. On a Heath, that's one of those shots there. It's you're almost not quite on the baseline, but it's do you use the glass or do you just try to put it straight in? It looked like she was in between on that one. So we're closing in on the 6-minute mark here in this second quarter, and so far Rushi outscoring the Fairlawn Jets 2-0 in the quarter. Substitution now as Putoff will go to the bench, and entering back in, I believe it was Cece Borchers. McKenzie with the inbound, tries to get it to Cundiff. That goes across the half court. They're going to get whistled for an over and back. Cundiff would have been better off just to let that ball go. and picking it up in the backcourt. And Coach Cathcart's questioning that with one of the officials right now.
I'm not sure she had control, and I think that's what he's arguing.
Yeah, it seemed to kind of glance off of her hands. And Coach Cathcart not going to win that argument. Rushi with the ball. Borchers to Gubo. As Heath goes for the steal on that. Monon's going to take a three from the corner. Monon's shot is off the iron. And a rebound there as Cundiff gets the rebound in front of Kate Sherman. She gets in the lane, puts up a shot. Looked like she might have got tapped on the arm, but ball's going to go out of bounds, and Fairlawn's going to get it underneath their own basket. Going to get a precision strip timeout from Coach Paul Bremgen. It's going to be a full timeout. We'll take it with him. Rushi leads Fairlawn 20-11.
Allglaze and Sydney Audiology are committed to providing the most advanced and affordable hearing care solutions.
Did you know that more and more insurances are offering coverage for hearing aids and that we are the most comprehensive provider in the area?
Because we want to serve all in our community, we partner with agencies such as Medicaid, OOD, Sertoma, and most recently the VA, helping our veterans find local solutions to their problems.
Don't leave unused benefits on the table this year. Call us today to see if you qualify.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
Crown Equipment Corporation, Grand Lake Health.
And this afternoon's 5-star recruitment sponsor is Crown Equipment Corporation. Our MVP sponsors are Clopay and Nedick Mincer. And today's Rushi game sponsor is Jewelry Barn. We want to remind our listeners and viewers to follow WCSM AM 1350, 96.7 FM, and their internet-exclusive games on WCSMradio.com. All season, your sports leader in Mercer and Auglaize counties. Rushi leading this one 20-11, 5:46 to play here in the second quarter. Fairlawn inbound underneath their own basket, and shot attempt there by Batten is blocked by Rushi. Nice defense by Rushi. He's down on the floor as Kate Sherman with the ball. And we're going to get a tie-up, and no, we're going to get a timeout. So another precision strip timeout. We'll keep it right here. We want to let our viewers know that NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of today's high school basketball action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Replays of this game will be on Saturday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. and Sunday, January 23rd at 12 p.m. You can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports. So coming out of the precision strip timeout, Rushi with the length of the floor to go as Pulling will inbound it to Cece Borchers. Borchers gets across the half court. And gets over to Mai Monin. Fairlawn been back in this, we called it a 1-2-2 zone all day as Gubo with it in the corner. We're successful in the first quarter, outscoring Fairlawn 18-11 as Gubo's going to take a three. And Reese Gubo, who hit one of those in the first quarter, finally gets the first field goal of this second quarter for both teams. Gubo now with 6 points. Both of those coming from behind the arc, both for baskets. Heath now with the ball. And you talk a lot about Lana Heath, Tanya, in the pregame and what a fantastic job she's done this season, how hard she works on her game. Rushi doing a really nice job on her this afternoon so far.
They're doing a fantastic job. When she gets away from the defender, somebody's always there to help out. So they're really paying attention to her.
As Maxson throws that one high off the board. Doesn't catch anything really. And going to be a Raider ball. Alana Heath still yet to score in this game. You got to figure she's going to get hot at some point, but Rushi just doing a very nice job defensively on the senior. Maya Monin's going to take a three, and Rushi with back-to-back threes. Gubo hit one a little earlier. Maya Monin gets one now. That is the fifth three-pointer these Raiders have hit in the first half. That's how you attack a zone.
Absolutely. The 2 possessions ago, they did a nice job of pushing the ball in and out, and that's when Reese Gubo hit her three. So the Jets are collapsing when the ball is going inside and leaving the perimeter open.
Coach Bremingen, in his 35 years of coaching boys, bringing a little bit of that experience to the girls. And he knows how to attack his zone.
I'm sure it's been a very different experience for him so far. And from being a mother of some players, and they really enjoy him. And they said he's hilarious.
Well, you know, when Coach Andy Timmerman, last year's Russia coach, decided to leave for his alma mater and go to New Bremen, I don't think anyone could blame him. But you knew you had to bring in the right guy for the situation. And with Russia, all the experience and talent they had, a coach like Paul Bremagen, bringing him in, I think was a good call for this Raiders program, as well as the assistants we talked about. As Ronnie Poling gets one off the glass and gets her first points of the game, Russia now with a 28-11 lead. But we talked about the assistants. We talked about Coach Borchers and his experience. And I think the Raiders have got the right mix on their coaching staff.
They've created a great mix of experience, and sometimes when you're coaching girls, you need a female on your staff. And with Christy Borchers and Rachel Borchers and Tracy Schultze, I think a combination of all of them bring great experience, knowledge, and a lot of fire for these kids. In addition to the Jets, when Coach Cathcart was hired, he's doing he's creating events from top to bottom. He's participating in 5th and 6th grade. He's here coaching them. And in summer junior high leagues, he was here coaching them. So he's trying to gain that excitement in Jets basketball as well.
Substitutions for Fairlawn a little earlier as Olivia Ambus in the game, as well as Jessie Abke back. Russia on the floor right now with Reese Gubo with the ball, as well as Ella Haney, who gets the layup. A nice assist there from Reese Gubo. Ella Haney with the basket. Those two joined on the floor right now with Ronnie Poling, Cece Borchers, and Simone Putoff. And Fairlawn turnover back to the Raiders, and with approaching the 3-minute mark here in the second quarter, Russia now with a 30-11 lead. These two teams played back on December 4th, and Russia won that one 66-28. Raiders trying to get the regular season sweep as Poling will dribble it on the baseline out of bounds. And Russia went from a very busy schedule, it seemed like, for most of the season, to all of a sudden after tonight, their next game is next Saturday versus Jackson Center. I think then they have another full week off until they play Anna possibly the next Saturday. Asked the coaches what are they going to do with all their time. They said, we'll probably give the girls a day off during the week. And sometimes you got to do that. Too many practices can get a little bit, can cause some burnout.
And part of it is, you go through a league night where you're actually, you have a bye night, and then the boys have a night. And they're trying to fill in games, and we're trying to fill in JV games. There's a JV game on Thursday at Bethel. We're trying to pick up extra games where we lose a game here against Fairlawn. We lost a game with Bradford. So they're trying to pick up some games there as well.
Well, I believe that JV was supposed to have a game, this afternoon against Tip City?
Yes.
So, yeah, sometimes filling those JV schedules and finding teams that can play JV games is a little bit of a challenge, and a lot of that falls back on your athletic director.
Yeah.
If not all of it.
Yeah. She's been busy trying to find some games for the Raiders. I know we picked up Urbana one night, and we go to Bethel. We've picked up Tip City. I'm not sure there's any other ones we've picked up, but it's tough. And we're seeing programs, we talked about this before we went on air, of schools having consecutive years of not having a JV team, and that gets tough on their program. So hopefully Fairlawn and schools like Piqua and Bradford can regain some of that.
Sophie Francis gets her first point of this ball game. Russia now with a 31-11 lead, and right now Russia outscoring Fairlawn 13-0 here in this second quarter. Jets, who had a very good first quarter with 11 points, still yet to score. Cundiff's going to try to change that. That ball a little bit too long from behind the arc, but long rebound goes weak side to Lana Heath. He gets it on top to Kennett. Kennett with the ball, trapped by a couple Raiders. Trying to get it to Heath. She does. Heath working against Francis. Francis, as you said, Tanya, probably the Raiders' best defender.
Without a doubt.
And that lob down low to Apke is too long as Putoff gets the steal to Haney, and Ella Haney with it off the glass. She is leading all scorers in this ball game with 10 points, first player in double figures. Heath working with it, trying to find Kennett down low, and It's again another Fairlawn turnover.
The nice thing about Heath, even though she hasn't scored at this point, is in that possession right there, she didn't have anything and she gave it to a teammate. She's not selfish and just throwing up junk.
Yeah, and I'll compare it to the boys' game, and I know a lot of our viewers out there are probably familiar with a very good player over in Anna on the boys' team by the name of McCain Finkenbein, and Rushi played them earlier this year. You got to watch that game, and Rushi really did a good job face guarding Finkenbein, trying to hold him. And they did for 3 quarters, held him scoreless, I believe. But he does so many other things. He sees the floor so well and finds the open person. So that is
that's just as important as scoring.
On the floor now for the Rushi Raiders, someone I know you know very well, number 42, and that is Riley Hammonds, a 5'5 senior. Getting into the ball game, and I missed who got the stick back for Rushi on that one. I saw.
I believe it was Haney.
So Ella Haney, right, adds another bucket on the scoreboard. She now has 12 as we have under a minute to play until halftime. Rushi with a 36-11 lead. Hammond with it down low, gets to Haney inside the lane. Nice pass, nice bucket by the Raiders. Ella Haney having some kind of first half here. She has 14 points. So Fairlawn still yet to score here in the second quarter, trying to get something here before halftime. Apke with the ball 25 feet away from the bucket, gets it over to Kennett. Kennett now at the half court, almost in jeopardy of going over the center line as Heath's going to put up a long 3, and that's no good. Rebound to Haney, and with 15 seconds to go, Rushi going to get one more opportunity. Borchers with it. Going to pull up, gets it to put off. That ball almost out of bounds as she saves it, throws it in the air. He's going to grab it, and with 6 seconds, she's going to try to get her first bucket as they steal from behind. I don't know if that one was by Francis or Borchers, but a whistle, and that will do it for halftime, I think. Coach Beckstead, he's going to call a foul. So I believe we're going to get a free throw, a one-on-one opportunity from Rushi. So with no time on the clock, Cece Borchers will head to the free throw line. And she's going to get a 1-and-1 as that was the 8th team foul for the Jets. Borchers makes good with her free throw. She now has 5, and again, with no time on the clock, going to have one more before her halftime break. And Borchers nails both of them, so that will do it for our first half. Rushi leading this ball game 40-11. Stick around for our Wagner's IGA halftime report. Tanya and I will have all your halftime numbers. You're listening to High School Girls Basketball on NKTelco Sports.
Wagner's IGA has been servicing their communities for more than 95 years, spanning 3 generations. Wagner's founded their business on 2 basic principles: excellent customer service and quality products. Visit all our locations and experience the finest selection of deli, fresh meats, and variety of beverage choices. While there, don't forget to check out our vast selection of fresh coffee beans, produce, dairy, and bakery items. Visit Wagner's today in Minster, Fort Laramie, and New Bremen, and check us out on Facebook.
Kemmler Orthopedic Center is focused on a personalized, caring approach to treat all aspects of orthopedics, including total joint replacement, shoulder reconstruction, stem cell injections, and more. Dr. James Kemmler and Jed Cooney, certified PA, are dedicated to providing the best orthopedic care in the Grand Lake region. Kemmler Orthopedic Center has offices located in Salina and Van Wert, along with extended evening hours. To schedule an appointment, call our office at 419-586-5760. We are here, and here, and here. Minster Bank is everywhere, providing every banking service that you need to keep your financial life in order. Whether you are on the go or stopping by one of our branches, Minster Bank is here for you. We proudly support the communities where you live. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success. Kemmler Orthopedic Center is focused on a personalized, caring approach to treat all aspects of orthopedics, including total joint replacement, shoulder reconstruction, stem cell injections, and more. Dr. James Kemmler and Jed Cooney, certified PA, are dedicated to providing the best orthopedic care in the Grand Lake region. Kemmler Orthopedic Center has offices located in Salina and Van Wert, along with extended evening hours. To schedule an appointment, call our office at 419-586-5760. We are here, and here, and here. Minster Bank is everywhere, providing every banking service that you need to keep your financial life in order. Whether you are on the go or stopping by one of our branches, Minster Bank is here for you. We proudly support the communities where you live. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
Kogi Plumbing and Heating is your Bryant Factory authorized dealer. We have brought the best of comfort, control, and plumbing services to the St. Mary's area for over 60 years. We have been Reader's Choice winners for the last 4 years running and excel at providing our customers with efficient and reliable heating and air conditioning, as well as responsive service when a plumbing emergency arises. We insist that the products we install in our customers' homes and businesses offer the same performance and value that we expect ourselves. Call today for your next plumbing and heating or air conditioning needs. Bryant, whatever it takes.
It's halftime here at Russia Local School in the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium, where the Russia Raiders are leading the Fairlawn Jets 40-11. And if we look at quarter scores real quick, it was actually a good game after one quarter of play. Russia leading just 18-11, but Raiders able to hold the Jets scoreless in the second quarter, while Russia put up 22 points of their own. And our halftime score again is 40-11. So far in this game, 8 different Raiders have scored. They're being led right now by Ella Haney with 14 points. Then it's 6 points apiece for Cece Borchers and Reese Gubo. Reese Gubo's, both her baskets coming from behind the arc. It's 4 points for Kate Sherman, 4 points for Simone Putoff, 3 points for Maya Monin, and 1 point for Sophie Francis. And Ronnie Pulling actually chipping in to her as well. So again, for Russia, it's 14 points for Ella Haney, 6 points for Cece Borchers, 6 points for Reese Gubo, 4 points for Kate Sherman, 4 for Simone Putoff, 3 for Maya Monin, 2 for Ronnie Poling, and 1 for Sophie Francis. For the Jets right now, they have just put 3 players in the scorebook. They've got both Jessie Apke and Darcy Maxson with 4 points each, and then Camry Cundiff has 3. So again, for the Jets, Jessie Apke with 4, Darcy Maxson with 4, and Camry Cundiff with 3. Tanya, what kind of halftime numbers do you have?
For the Jets, they've shot 25% from the field. They had no free throw attempts, and they had 11 turnovers. For the Raiders, they shot 50% from the floor. They were 75% from the free throw line and had 9 turnovers.
All right, again, those halftime numbers brought to you by Wagner's IGA. Let's take a quick look at our current standings in the Shelby County Athletic League, as well as other games going on around the area today. And right now in the SCAL, it's Fort Laramie all alone in first place at 8-0. In second place, both Russia and Botkins are tied at 6-2. You've got fourth place Anna at 3-4. Houston in fifth at 3-5. Jackson Center in sixth place at 1-7. And these Fairlawn Jets today still looking for their first win in the league at 0-7. In addition to our game this afternoon, Fort Laramie is visiting Anna, and Houston is taking a road trip to Jackson Center. If we get any updates during our contest, we'll let you know about that one. And then as far as the week ahead coming up on Tuesday, a couple of non-league games as the Anna Rockets will travel to Covington, and Jackson Center will visit New Bremen in a game that you can watch on NKTelco Sports. Well, Tanya, I'm fortunate to have you here in the booth tonight because I want to talk a little bit about, since we're at Russia here, talk a little bit about this very special and athletic senior class here at Russia. And there's a number of seniors that will be continuing their athletic careers in college. On the boys' side, about a month ago, Grant Saunders signed with Walsh to play baseball. On the girls' side, in a couple of weeks, I know senior Bailey Pullman will be signing with Wilmington to play volleyball. And, you know, you've got a daughter, Riley, that we just saw a little bit ago out on the floor, who's not only on this Raiders basketball team, but she's the reigning Shelby County Athletic League Player of the Year in softball. She signed recently to play Bluffton softball for the Beavers, and I know that's got to be exciting for you and your husband, Roger.
We are so looking forward to making trips up north. We're very excited that it's only an hour and 5-minute drive for us. The only problem that I did not like when we were looking at different schools is she was looking south about an hour, 2 hours. It's much warmer in the spring south than it is north. The one trip we made, we looked at the weather at both locations, and it was a 20-degree difference. So I was a little more encouraging for the Cincinnati area than I was Bluffton, Ohio. But we're excited with Coach Jansen is in her first year. She brings a lot of enthusiasm to the Beaver softball team, and there's some area kids that are already there. There's a Newton graduate, and Aaron Norman that is on the softball team at Bluffton currently. So Riley will be joining her in addition to her longtime travel teammate from Milton Union and Madison Jones. So there's some familiar faces that will help guide her and help her in her first year at Bluffton, and we're super excited. And the biggest thing that Coach Jansen liked about Riley was her leadership and looking to build a program that's going through some struggles and build them up to being a powerhouse in their league.
Well, you mentioned in our pregame that one of the players out here today for Fairlawn, Lonnie Heath, is going to Bluffton as well to play basketball. Do her and Riley know each other by any chance?
I think they briefly talked through Snapchat, and I think that's about it. With not having a JV game, it doesn't give them an opportunity to see each other in the hallway and just chat a bit. But she's excited about Bluffton, and we've had Bailey at our house speaking about Wilmington, and she's actually down there today taking an essay contest, I believe. And one thing me and you discussed was when you go to the school and you find there's other Shelby County kids there, it gives you a little sense of home and makes you feel a little bit better going into a place that you don't really know anybody. So between those two, and then Ella making her way over at Edison, a Edison team that's doing fantastic right now. If you're following them at all, I'm not sure they've lost, and they're led by Tim McMahon, and they're having a great season now. So Ella will make a great addition to there and following her mom's footsteps at playing at Edison.
All right, we have just a couple minutes until our halftime break is over, so I want to continue talking about this a little bit more. But we talked about talking about Lonnie Heath and all the work she put in over the summer, getting ready for her sport and playing it at the next level. Talk about what Riley's had to do with softball. It's not just something you show up in the spring and say, "I'm ready to go," is it?
It is absolutely not. Riley has utilized not only the workout sessions that our coaches, even in basketball and softball, provide in our weight room. But her and her sister have ventured over to No Name Athletics in Piqua, led by AJ and Haley Olette and Brandon Wearig, Covington and Bradford graduates, who do a phenomenal job. And I know there's other Russia kids in Braylon Cardonier and Jackson Grosjean and the Hoyne girls. They all go over and do speed and agility in addition to doing some weights. So they run a fantastic company over there that makes kids excited to want to work out. And my kids, when basketball started, were not very happy that they had to stop going to No Name because they really enjoy it and they make it fun.
And the great thing about Riley playing at Bluffton and being so close is that you can track their career. I've followed high school sports for a lot of years, and one thing that's kind of difficult is when kids do go play at the next level, if they move away, and Grant Saunders is one at Walsh, a little bit further away than Bluffton. The further away they get, sometimes a little bit harder it is for folks like me, maybe not the parents and family, but for the fans of them in high school to follow their careers. But I have a feeling we'll be able to keep up with Riley.
And it is, and people talk about the dangers of social media, but there's also some really good things about social media. I have a relative that's an offensive coordinator now moving to Duke University. I follow their Twitter page. I follow their Facebook page. So I can see what's going on, and I guarantee that I'll be following the Walsh Cavaliers in addition to the Quakers down in Wilmington, and I do follow the Edison Chargers right now. So it's fun to see those things and see how these kids are doing. And you talking about them and putting it on your Fish Report pages is very helpful. And it's a lot of fun to keep track of these kids because they're great kids that have put a lot of effort in. And we want their community to be, see what they're doing because we know they're proud of them.
All right, great stuff there as the final seconds tick off our halftime break clock. And Russia Raiders leading this ball game right now 40-11. For those of you listening to us live, I'll be back again today on this same channel with a boys basketball triple-header as the New Bremen Cardinals come to town and visit the Russia Raiders. Action gets underway tonight with a freshman game at 4:30, followed by the JV contest around 6, and then the varsity tip we're expecting around 7:30. I'll be back on the air with pregame 15 minutes before tip-off, so if you can't make it to the gym, you can tune in sometime around 7:15. Fairlawn gets the ball here to start this halftime out. Again, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors here this afternoon. And just real quickly, our five-star recruitment sponsor is Crown Equipment Corporation. Our MVP sponsors are Clopay and Nedick Minster. And today's Russia game sponsor is Jewelry Barn. Thanks to them for all they do for NKTelco Sports. So a Fairlawn turnover turns into Russia ball. And Cece Borchers will set up this Raiders offense. She's out on the floor with Sophie Francis, Ella Haney, Kate Sherman, and Reese Gubo. Sherman with the ball now gets it over to Borchers.
The Jets come out in a man and create a turnover right away.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Jets played strictly that zone defense in the first half, that 1-2-2, whatever you called it there. So
I didn't see any changes.
I guess when you don't score any points in the second quarter, something's got to change.
Well, and you know what? That's a great thing because things do have to change. If you're not effective in what you're doing, make a change and see what happens. It's not going to get any worse than it already is.
Bonnie Heath with the ball, still scoreless in this ball game. Heath had 28 points in a game against Waynesville Goshen last weekend, trying to get it down low to Darcy Maxon, and that ball goes out of bounds off a Raiders' hand. So Fairlawn to keep possession as Katie McKenzie will inbound it for the Jets. She gets it to Maxon. Maxon on top to Cundiff. Cundiff had a three-pointer in the first quarter. Probably use several of those from her here in the second half if Fairlawn's going to get back into this ball game. And refresh our listeners or viewers what the running clock rule is. 35 points in the second half.
It begins at 35, and once the clock or the score gets below 30 is when you go back to a start-stop situation on whistles.
Rushi with the ball now as Borchers working against Cundiff. Does a nice job sealing her off and getting a layup. Cece Borchers, who had 6 in the first half, with the first field goal of this second half for either team. She now has 8. Heath working number 3 against number 3 for the Raiders and Borchers. Heath got to be awfully frustrated with this Raiders defense, how well they've been playing. As we said in our pregame, Rushi trying to get something going here after back-to-back losses the other week against Fort Laramie and Marion Local, 2 very good teams. Raiders pick up the win against Howson earlier in the week, trying to get one here this afternoon, and then tournament draws coming up on January 30th with a couple more games before then. Rushi looking for that, probably that number 2 seed. Fort Laramie right now undefeated and ranked number 1 in the state. Certainly a lock for number 1. And Reese Gubo will head to the free throw line. She's going to get a couple opportunities after getting fouled on her shot attempt. Gubo, I don't know if she's changed her shot at all from last year. She used to have a really high arching shot, and it almost like I called it a rainbow, I guess, but that's a very good shot. Doesn't seem to be quite the arch as maybe she once had. That's something she's worked at in the offseason.
She puts a lot of time in shooting and dribbling, and she is absolutely one kid that puts the time in.
Cundiff with a ball stolen from her by Borchers. Sherman with it down the left block. She shot not going to go, but she's going to get fouled. Kate Sherman will head to the free throw line for a couple. Right now, that is going to be the 3rd foul on Darcy Maxon. She has 3, along with Heath's got 2 and Apke's got 2. So Fairlawn maybe getting in a little bit of foul trouble here as Sherman gets the first one. Kate Sherman had 4 in the first half, courtesy of a couple field goals in that first quarter. She now has her 5th point, going to try to make it 6. It was off the front of the rim, and a nice soft touch there from the 6'2 junior. Fairlawn still yet to score from the first quarter. Had 11 points in that frame. Held scoreless in the second quarter. And at the 5:30 mark here in the third, still yet to score. Just 1 field goal so far from Cece Borchers, as Kate Sherman just added a couple free throws. Raiders outscoring the Jets 4-0. Mass substitutions now for Rushi as Ronnie Poling will come into the game. Maya Monin, Simone Putoff, and then Kelby Dosek. And we talked a little bit about Kelby off air, and she was had a minor injury. Hasn't been played for a couple games.
Kelby's been splitting time between JV and varsity since about a little bit before Christmas. And the last 2 games she's not played. She has a knee injury, which was prior to this. That's not a new injury. I know there's some swelling, but of what I'm understanding when I talked to her last week, they're not thinking there's anything torn, but they're not exactly sure what's going on with her.
And Maya Monin gets a bucket. Her 5th point of the game. Rushi expands their lead 46-11. So now we've got that 35-point lead. I believe this is when the clock starts to run continuously, except for timeouts.
Yes, it only stops at timeouts.
And Dosek at 5'11", normally a girl that you'd love to have in your lineup with that kind of size. But as we said, Rushi just so tall right now. You got 6 foot Ella Haney, 6'2" Kate Sherman, and then the emergence of 6-foot sophomore Ronnie Poling. Rushi just extremely blessed with that height as Cece Borchers will head to the bench and Reese Gubo out on the floor for her.
Well, it's interesting to watch the officials in a situation like this because they do pick up their speed a little bit when they're trying to take the ball out of bounds and different things when the clock is running.
I got a chance to see the running clock last night against Houston at the boys game, the Rushi Houston boys game. And, when you fool around as an official or as a team, those seconds, they go fast. As we said, it's a continuous clock, and they were just trying to get the ball in bounds when the time expired.
Especially when you try to get other players in that maybe don't see the time. For the Jets, they do, without having a JV team, some of these kids need to get in the ball game and play a little bit. And then when you have a running clock situation, it makes it even more difficult.
So clock running right now as Simone Putoff will inbound it in front of Lana Heath, looking for a teammate. Taking about 4 seconds here, it looks like. Finally does get it, and Gubo double teamed by a couple Jets. Monon's going to take the 16-footer, and she gets that to go down. Maya Monon having a nice afternoon. She now has 7 points. Rushi expands their lead 48-11.
I will say that we have not heard anybody yell, "The clock's running," since we've seen this. We've been paying attention.
Want to remind our viewers to follow WCSM AM 1350, 96.7 FM, and their internet-exclusive games on WCSMradio.com all season. Your sports leader in Mercer and Auglaize counties. Rushi with a 48-11 lead. 3 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Raiders trying to get their league record up to 7-2. And another foul by the Jets. That one is going to go on Jessie Abke, and that will be her third foul. At the free throw line is Simone Putoff. Putoff with a couple free throws back in that second quarter to go along with a field goal in the first quarter. She gets the first one to go down. More substitutions for Rushi as now on the floor, Cece Borchers is back along with Ella Haney out there with Kate Sherman, and once again, we see Riley Hammonds. She's got 3 seniors on this team along with Riley. You got Sophie Francis and Haney. One more substitution now as Sophie Francis comes in for Simone Putoff. So Rushi, all 3 of their seniors on the floor, and these girls, I know they spent a lot of time together. This is their final season, but for Ella Haney and for Riley Hammonds and Sophie Francis, trying to enjoy this last season of
Absolutely.
basketball.
I'm kind of on countdown, though. I've seen when games, every time I go to a game, I'm like, okay, we're marking one more off. This is not good. This is a sad mama when this kind of stuff ends, but as is all moms when they see their kids' journeys come to an end. But it's fun to watch these 3. I don't get to see these 3 on the floor very often together, and it is fun to see this. When they were in junior high, I had the pleasure of coaching them, and there was 8 at the time, and we're down to 3. So it's fun to see these 3.
All right, well, I won't try to get you emotional here or anything. So as Heath, her shot gets blocked, and she's got to be awful frustrated with this Raiders defense as Haney's shot gets blocked. Rushi with some offensive rebounds, and Cece Borchers is going to get fouled. Going to head to the free throw line where Rushi's been spending a lot of this third quarter, and that time is quickly ticking off the clock. We're now under a minute in the third quarter, and Rushi has the 15-11 lead. See if Borchers can get both these off before the final seconds tick off, and I assume if it goes down to 0, she does get her free throw.
No. At Houston the other night, they did not give the free throw.
Okay, I don't know the rules there very well, so she's probably begging the official to get this ball.
Don't put in a sub. Let me shoot the ball.
And Borchers gets that to go down. So Rushi up 52-11, under 30 seconds left. As we said here a couple times already, Fairlawn hadn't scored in the second quarter. They still haven't scored in this third quarter, and we are almost finished.
And I may have missed some, but I only have them with 1 shot attempt.
That could very well be the case. This Rushi defense playing awfully well against the Jets. And with 3 seconds to go, Heath now with the ball is going to try to put one up at the horn and can't get it to go. So after 3 quarters of play, Rushi leads 52-11. We'll be back for the final 8 minutes. You're listening to high school girls basketball here on NKTelco Sports.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
New Knoxville Supply Company, the supply source for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. We specialize in plumbing products from many name brands, electrical products from replacing a light switch to rewiring an entire house, heating, air conditioning, and geothermal products, sheet metal ductwork, installations, and service. We are now housing more inventory, so all the hardware items you need to complete the job are available right away. New Knoxville Supply. Stop in, call, or check us out online at newknoxvillesupply.com.
NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of this afternoon's high school basketball action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Replays of this contest will be Saturday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. and Sunday, January 23rd at 12 o'clock. Once again, I want to thank our five-star recruitment sponsor, Crown Equipment Corporation. MVP sponsors are Clopay and Nedick Minster. Scoreboard is sponsored by First National Bank. Keys of the game, as we talked about in our pregame, from Keyhole Pizza, replays of this afternoon's contest from Winners Meats. Starting lineups came to you from Sydney Auglaze Audiology. Timeouts all coming from Precision Strip. Our post-game stats and recap will come to you from Wagner's IGA, and we'll have Tanya's player of the game. That will be brought to you by NKTelco, and today's game sponsor is Rucci's Jewelry Barn. Rucci so far pitching a shutout in the second and third quarters, and almost changed there with that shot attempt by Jenna Batten. Rucci leading 52-11. After one quarter of play, it was Rucci 18-11, and Rucci putting up 22 points in the second quarter, along with 12 points in the third quarter. Houston trying to get something going here, and finally they do as Alyssa Kennett hits a field goal. It is the first bucket for the Jets since the first quarter. Rucci now with the ball as on the floor. Maya Monin gets a lucky bounce, I guess you call it. And Maya Monin having a good game. She has 9 points. Also on the floor, Carly Scott for Rucci for the first time. Eliza Garrity seeing some action along with Kelby Dosick. And Eliza, and you talked about Kelby playing a little bit of JV. Eliza Garrity, primarily a JV player. One of these juniors just trying to find some time. Also on the floor for Rucci, number 20. You talked about some additional uniforms going out. You're going to have to help me out with that one, Tanya.
So Addison Chappie's a freshman, and she received a varsity jersey, I believe, last night. And as I was sitting down on the bleachers before I came up here, Grace Holscher, who is a guard and is a junior, also received a jersey. So she was a little surprised. She looked at me and goes, I did not expect that. So she was pretty excited.
Rucci with the ball as Carly Scott now with it in the lane for the Raiders. Loses that, and down the floor, Shappy ties it up with Cundiff. Cundiff finally picks it up, gets it over to a couple substitutions for the Jets that I don't have on my roster either, but Eliza Garrity with the rebound for Rucci. Maya Monin now with it. She has 10 points. Shappy over to Scott. Scott's going to take a three, and Carly Scott gets it to go down. So Carly Scott gets a nice yell from the crowd on that one. I'm going to assume that's one of Carly's, is that her first basket of the season?
I would believe so. She has not entered many varsity games, I believe, that she has scored.
Maybe they're just happy about the three-pointers.
Could be.
Rucci with a couple threes in this fourth quarter of play. Raiders now at 58-13, and Riley Hammond's back in the ball game. She's going to come in for Maya Monin, who goes to the bench with 10 points. I imagine that's the last action Maya will see here this afternoon. Very nice game by her. Ella Haney also sitting on the bench with 14 points. She was the leading scorer so far in this contest. I doubt Ella will get back on the floor either. Nice to get these other players some opportunities And some action. It's Carly Scott at the free throw line. Scott's first attempt rattles out, and she hit a three-pointer a little earlier. Got a nice big cheer from the crowd. Scott with one more opportunity. And she gets that one to go down.
One more.
That's right. She got fouled on a 3 attempt.
I can't see that line from here.
So Carly Scott with one more free throw. That one's a little short. She gets her own rebound, though, and can't get that to go down. So Russia does retain possession as Garrity had an attempt, but Shappy now with the ball for the Raiders. Gets it out to Hammonds. Hammonds skip pass over to Shappy on top of Scott. Scott's going to take another 3, and that one's going to be an air ball. As Hammonds, nice job saving it down low to Kelby Dosek, who can't get the bucket. That's going to go out of bounds, and Raiders are going to keep it. Lots of smiles when you're up by 46 points.
The White's smiling a lot, the Blues not smiling a lot.
This fourth quarter quickly ticking away as we have a running clock. Shappy's going to take a baseline jumper. She's going to get fouled and head to the free throw line. So after tonight, as we said, Russia gets a long break before they will play again next Saturday versus Jackson Center. That game will be over at Jackson Center. That's a game you can watch on NKTelco as Shappy gets the free throw. For Fairlawn, they will next play on Thursday. They will also play Jackson Center. They will be hosting them over at the Hangar. Shappy makes it 2 for 2. Substitution for the Jets as number 2, Aubrey Judy, comes in. She's a freshman. This Fairlawn program has a lot to look forward to, though, Tanya, from what I read, and I don't attend any junior high games at this point, but they've got a very nice 8th grade team from what I'm told.
Well, like we talked about earlier, Coach Cathcart's done a nice job of making his presence in the younger grades to help build a program. He wasn't just there for 1 year. He's there to build something, and unfortunately we have an injured player
on the floor for the Raiders, holding her ankle right now. And as the medical trainer comes out to check her out, we're going to take a precision strip timeout as Russia leads Fairlawn here, 61-13 with 2 minutes left to play in this fourth quarter. You're listening to High School Girls Basketball on NKTelco Sports.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
New Knoxville Supply Company, the supply source for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. We specialize in plumbing products from many name brands, electrical products from replacing a light switch to rewiring an entire house, heating, air conditioning, and geothermal products, sheet metal ductwork, installations, and service. We are now housing more inventory, so all the hardware items you need to complete the job are available right away. New Knoxville Supply. Stop in, call, or check us out online at newknoxvillesupply.com.
Park National Bank, Cargill, St. Henry Bank, Chiltex LLC, Speedway Lanes.
So coming out of that precision strip timeout, Russia's Kelby Dosek went down to the floor there, Tanya, and we're hoping she's okay.
Gabe will do a nice job at assessing what's going on and give her a treatment plan. And, you know, we talked about having long breaks, and sometimes when you're injured, long breaks are nicer. There's sicknesses running through teams. That's the only good thing about getting healthy before tournament time. Because Kelby can make a great addition to this team and give somebody a couple-minute break to get them ready to go.
Got a running clock here in the second half. Russia with a 61-13 lead, just a minute and a half to go. And down low with it is Ronnie Pulling, who misses a point-blank layup with a little Fairlawn defense. Scott's shot is up, no good. Hammond's chasing after the ball in the corner, and that one's going to go out of bounds. The Jets going to get it here, and Nice to see all the Russia boys basketball players down in that first row watching the girls.
It's a lot of fun when they all support each other, when there's big crowds at each game, and I know the girls really do appreciate it.
Sure, we'll see the girls at tonight's boys basketball game as the Russia Raiders are going to host the New Bremen Cardinals. That should be a good one.
I think it's a pink out tonight. There was planning going on in my household this morning of what we're wearing to the ball game tonight.
I have a good view of it up here in this crow's nest calling that contest with Tim Kearns, and we'll look forward to seeing that Russia crowd all in their pink. And what I love about Russia here, especially those boys games, they're able to put the high school students on the one side on the right, the elementary students on the left, and it creates a really neat atmosphere in Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium.
It is so much fun. And last weekend, between Thursday night, the girls playing Laramie, and then the boys playing Laramie, the crowds were almost identical in size on both sides. And that was so much fun to be a part of something like that.
I agree. I actually think the girls' game had maybe a few more fans. It was a packed house here for both the Redskins and the Raiders. As the shot attempt there from Avery North is no good. Final 10 seconds getting ready to tick off the clock as North, I think, almost stepped out of bounds there. Official let it go. North thought maybe she got fouled there, and she didn't, and that's going to be the ball game as Russia will pick up the 61-13 win. And you'll want to stick around because Tanya and I will have your Wagner's IGA postgame report. We'll be back in a moment here on NKTelco Sports.
Winners Meats. Quality meats for 4 generations. Hoagie Lumber. Hilsman Automotive.
Are you looking for a new career with amazing growth potential? Nidec Press and Automation is hiring for many positions right now. Nidec is a global company that is growing with its sights on being $1 billion company. Machinists, service technicians, human resource personnel, IT specialists, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and many more. The opportunities abound at Nidec Press and Automation. Go to minsterjobs.com now to get started on your new career with Nidec.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Allglaze and Sydney Audiology are committed to providing the most advanced and affordable hearing care solutions.
Did you know that more and more insurances are offering coverage for hearing aids and that we are the most comprehensive provider in the area?
Because we want to serve all in our community, we partner with agencies such as Medicaid, OOD, Sertoma, and most recently the VA, helping our veterans find local solutions to their problems.
Don't leave unused benefits on the table this year. Call us today to see if you qualify.
Lift your career to new heights with Crown, an innovative global leader in the material handling industry with over a 75-year history of growth and success. We're seeking career-minded candidates for a wide variety of entry-level and skilled positions in our New Bremen, New Knoxville, Salina, Minster, and other U.S. locations. Visit crown.jobs to apply or find us on social media by searching Careers at Crown.
Clopay Corporation, America's favorite garage door, is now hiring for all manufacturing and over-the-road Class A CDL driving positions. Clopay is the largest residential garage door manufacturer in North America, and we are continuing to grow. Join our team and work in a safe, clean, modern environment. Clopay offers a great benefits package as an equal opportunity employer and a drug-free work environment. Imagine the possibilities when you open the door to your career at clopay.com/careers.
It's a final here at Russia Local School where the Russia Raiders defeated the Fairlawn Jets this afternoon in this varsity-only contest by the final of 61-13. After one quarter of play, it was actually competitive as Russia led just 18-11, but the Raiders held the Jets scoreless in both the second and third quarters. Fairlawn able to just get one more field goal in the game in the fourth quarter by Alyssa Kennett, and Russia again wins by the final of 61-13. For the Raiders, they had 10 different girls in the scoring column, and I'm just going to go down the list here. It was Cece Borchers with 10 points, Kate Sherman with 6, Maya Mana with 10, Ella Haney with 14, leading all scorers. Reese Gubo had 6, Sophie Francis with 1, Simone Putoff with 5. It was Carly Scott with 4, 2 points for Ronnie Poling, and finally 2 points for Addison Shappy. For the Fairlawn Jets, they had just 4 girls score, and they were led with Jessie Abke and Darcy Maxon both with 4. Camry Cundiff had 3, and Alyssa Kennett had 2. And can't say enough about the defense that Rushi was able to play this afternoon on a very talented player in Lana Heath.
They did a fantastic job of, if she got loose from one player, somebody else was there to back her up. So they kept the pressure on. They pushed everybody towards half court. It was hard for them, especially in the first half and the first quarter and the third quarter, to get into the paint, it seemed like, for Heath. So they did a fantastic job. I'm sure she'll come back the next game and light somebody up. So she's just a dominant player you're not going to keep down long.
All right, and any shooting percentages that you had?
Yes, today for the Raiders, I had in the second half from the field was 30%. From the free throw line, which I believe made a great difference, was 70%. They shot 9 for 13 and only had 2 turnovers in that second half. For the Jets, I had them at a minimal 13% from the field. They only got one. They only had that 1 field goal and had no free throw attempts the entire game, and unfortunately had 8 turnovers.
Okay, all those stats coming to you sponsored by Wagner's IGA. Now it's time for our NKTelco Player of the Game. And Tanya, I know with 10 different players scoring, it might be a little bit difficult, but who do you have for NKTelco Player of the Game?
Today I would have for the Player of the Game would be Ella Haney. She did a fantastic job of cutting to the open spot when they were playing in a 1-2-2 zone and getting in the middle. And she crashed the board super hard and ran the floor. So she had some nice looks that were uncontested, with our guards doing a great job of pushing the ball up the floor and getting her the ball.
All right, so Rushi Senior Ella Haney is our NKTelco Player of the Game, and Rushi will improve to 13-4 overall, including 7-2 in the Shelby County Athletic League. Raiders will look forward to their next matchup a week from now, next Saturday, in another league contest over at Jackson Center. That's a game you'll be able to watch on NKTelco Sports. And for Fairlawn today, they will drop to 6-10 overall, including 0-8 in the league. Their next matchup is Thursday, hosting those Jackson Center Tigers and trying to keep them sharp for Rushi coming up on Saturday. Well, Tanya, it was a lot of fun here doing the broadcast with you.
Thanks. I had a great time and enjoyed every time I get a chance to talk to you.
All right, that will officially wrap it up for us here for a final time. Rushi defeats Fairlawn 61-13. We hope you enjoyed NKTelco's broadcast of high school girls basketball. Thanks for tuning in. And from the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium, I'm Craig Fissinger, for my broadcast partner Tanya Hammond, saying so long, everyone.